Hello and welcome to the Bargain Bin podcast, where we talk about good films, bad films and ugly films.
Yeah, I'm Adam.
I'm Jack.
I'm Nick. On today's show we will be talking about 3 very good films we picked up at a local DVD store out the Bargain Bin. They are Ghost World, Evil Aliens and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
The best film on that list.
It is.
Yes. No,
Ghost
you
World's
can't.
better.
No, Scooby-Doo 2. I can recite half that script.
I guess we'll start with Scooby-Doo 2
Yes.
Monsters Unleashed.
Oh god, I have so much to say about this.
Let's take a step back a second. For those who aren't aware or have never seen the masterpiece that is Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed,
What's wrong with you?
let's talk about the plot of the movie to begin with.
Oh yeah, there's a plot to this one. Jack, tell us the plot of Scooby-Doo 2 without looking it up on your phone.
Okay, so from the beginning, the gang arrive at a museum which showcases the costumes of all of their previous villains that they've caught from all of the old classic episodes from the 60s shows, not the ones from the 2000s, and they are kind of giving a tour of it, they're opening it, the grand ceremony, that kind of thing. When suddenly one of the costumes comes to life. It's a pterodactyl ghost, which is a wonderful episode. It's set in a canyon. And in its rage, it flies around and destroys everything, picks up another villain, the Black Knight Ghost's costume, and flies away. And then the big bad is revealed, and I can't remember his name.
Does he have a name?
I don't think it has a name. It's this weird silver animatronic mask in a cloak.
Which we were contemplating, is it CGI or is it animatronic? Because it looks, sometimes it looks CG and sometimes it looks...
it's a really bad practical effect.
Yeah, I think it's covered up with CG. It looks a lot like a low budget Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four films.
Yeah. So after the opening of the costumes being stolen, the gang go about trying to find the costumes, trying to find out who's responsible, whilst also fighting off the villains that have come back to life.
Which was the best part for me, because seeing all of the old villains, even in some of their 2000s, early mid 2000s CG glory, it was still so nice. Just
it's nice to see the terrifying submariner creature monster, the diver one coming to life. That still scares me a little bit. I don't know why. I think it's the lack of face on it. I don't know. I really love that character design.
I will mention as well that something I never realised until we watched it is that this film was written by James Gunn. And I think now being older and after experiencing more films and knowing who James Gunn is, I can definitely see that this film was written by him.
Yeah.
There are so many little James Gunn type jokes and there's so much James Gunn charm in the film, and it's great.
Little nods to the more adult audiences.
Yeah.
Which was just really nice, because obviously we've all seen it before, but watching it again with all of these jokes in it, and you're just oh yeah, okay, I get that now. I didn't get it when I was 10.
So, what I really liked about this film was just, I don't know what it is. It's the Mystery Machine. It's a weird thing to see it in real life, and I don't know what I've never seen the inside of it. And the inside of this film, it's really high tech and over the top, and I don't know. I just like the whole level of detail that's inside a Mystery Machine, and it follows on to the design of the sets for the Mystery Incorporated house.
Yeah,
which
it's
looked like
the
a
same
Thunderbird playhouse.
It did. It was all very high tech and futury, but they were never high tech and futury in the cartoons.
No, they were just a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
just there. So I like how it's kind of been brought into the modern age of the early 2000s. And it's very James Gunny, the whole design of it. It really runs with the idea that it's just over the top and silly and fun. And I really loved it. I would love to have more time in the Mystery Incorporated house.
What I did like about it, though, was that it was still, even though it was high tech, it was almost as though It was a bit like in Alien, when they try and kind of like show futuristic tech, but they're still in the 70s, and it was a bit like that you kind of had all this, like, it was high tech, but there was still like a kind of 60s, 70s kind of feel to it all. I really like that.
Buttons and little screens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, this is what the future will look like.
Yeah, no, it was really great.
I did enjoy Matthew Lillard's performance as Shaggy.
Yeah,
I think he is great as Shaggy. He does a great voice.
Well, he is the voice of Shaggy now.
Is he?
Yeah, they carried him over after the guy who did it. I think he passed away. They were like, "Who are we going to get to do it?" And he was like, "I'll do it."
Mm-hmm.
It was right after the films, so he's still currently the voice, I believe.
That's good.
Citation needed.
Matthew Lillard is actually a great actor, though. Like, he's in... obviously, he was in Scream, which is one of his, like, more notable ones, other than Scooby-Doo. But he's in, like, a lot of, like, budget horror films. I can't remember one off the top of my head.
He's a kind of actor that would just go for any part and just run with it.
Yeah, I think he was in a film called... I might be getting the name wrong, but I think it's called 13 Ghosts, and it is literally just about, like, 13 ghosts in this, like, haunted house. But he's just really fun in it, and he just does a lot of these types of films that he knows that they're not going to be seen by loads of people, but he just has a lot of fun doing them, and that's what I like really respect about him. He doesn't like care whether millions of people are going to see it. He just cares that he has fun and that it's going to be like decent at the end of it. So I'm glad that he's that kind of actor.
What was your favourite scene from the film?
My favourite scene is just after they go to the mansion of the old Black Knight, and they go through the giant hamster ball Hot Wheels scene, and they're all stuck in the cage, and you see the other people that are locked in the cage.
Yeah.
And it's a Girl Scout and some Mormons just in a cage. I love that joke. I never picked it up when I was a kid, and going back and watching it, it's just like, so, I don't know, it's beautiful. What about you, Nick?
My favourite scene, the climax of the film, the last bit where they're fighting the last monster, because one of the main subplots of the film is that Shaggy and Scooby feel useless. They feel like they're not doing anything to help the gang, and they want to become real detectives, which of course those two going off on their own just causes more trouble. But at the end, it's the tar monster. I'm not sure if that's its name, but it's this big, like, grey black ball of goop that just spreads everywhere and sticks.
It's literally just tar.
Yeah,
I think it's the tar monster.
It traps all members of Mystery Incorporated. It traps Fred, Velma, Daphne and Shaggy, and Scooby is the only one left untouched. So it's up to Scooby to save everyone and save the day and stop the villains from taking over the city. And he does this by bringing out a fire extinguisher, freezing the tar, and then skating on it. I'm not sure what it is exactly. It's this metallic disc thing.
Oh yeah, it's like the control panel.
Yeah, control panel. Yeah. It's like this circular metal disc that he has to plug into the other side of the room. So he skates across the frozen tar monster on this control disc thing.
But
it's great.
Best bit about this scene is the music playing, because it's a rock version of the original Scooby-Doo theme, and it sounds amazing.
The bit I love about that is what they do in like every other Scooby-Doo episode, where Scooby says his name, but like puts pauses in it to make it sound even cooler.
Who do you think you are? Scooby? Dooby? Doo!
And to round it off, my favourite scene was, in my opinion, obviously, the best scene in the film. The club scene, club bar, the dance number in the villains, the dance number in the villains kind of bar lair thing. It's where all the villains go after they get out of prison, and they're all like they all come together to hate on Mystery Incorporated, and they have darts boards up with their faces on it, that kind of thing. And Scooby participates in a little dance number with a lady who is actually a villain. I can't remember which villain she is, but I know she is one. And whilst wearing an afro and a how would I describe it? A 70s jumpsuit.
70s jumpsuit. Yeah.
And that song is amazing.
What's the name of the film with John Travolta?
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, he looks like that.
Yeah.
But with an afro, doing a dance number. It's great.
I love Shaggy's outfit in that.
What, the bright green suit? Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's beautiful. Who is your favourite character? Like, taken from the cartoon into real life, which one of them does it the best, do you think?
I'd say Matthew Lillard. Like I feel like he's such a good.
He takes Shaggy and
Yeah, like he just, I don't know. I feel like he really likes the character of Shaggy, and just kind of, I don't know. I feel like he's the kind of person that would method act around the set as well. Like he'd just go around as Shaggy.
Just eating everything.
Yeah, exactly.
constantly stoned.
Talking to an imaginary dog.
Yeah.
I would agree that Shaggy's probably the best, but also I think Velma is really good as well. She is just like the cartoon. But I'll tell you who doesn't work. I don't think Fred works that well.
What, Freddie Prinze Jr.?
I don't think Freddie Prinze Jr. does not work well as Fred from Scooby-Doo.
I think he's like a Fred after he's had some kind of breakdown.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is, but midway through, he suddenly gets this like, I'm going to be Freddy again. Because at the beginning, he doesn't feel like it. But when they go back to the clubhouse, that's when he starts to become Freddy again. But then he's cool at the end.
Wait, the first time they go to the clubhouse, or the second time when they're on the run?
Run on the run.
Okay, yeah.
When they've like, my spectral metropolizer.
Yeah.
Do you rebuild that?
I think it would have helped if we'd watched Scooby-Doo 1 first to understand maybe why Fred is like that at the start of the second one. But
I don't think there's much like
I love the idea.
crossover.
There's an arc. Like,
Yeah, I think it's
he's
just
horribly shell-shocked from seeing all these monsters that are real.
Yeah, because that's the thing. From the first one, they're all real. Like I don't know how they just go back to the real world, just being like, oh yeah, we just found out all of these monsters. Yeah, they're just real.
We all swap bodies, and Rowan Atkinson's actually a robot.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the first one's great as well.
I do not remember the first one at all. I remember they're on an island, and I remember Mr. Bean's there.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you think the plot is of the first one?
The Mystery Incorporated gang find a villain and unmask them.
Oh, you got it. How did you know? No, because they all have like a breakdown at the beginning of it, because they're all just like, they hate each other, and so they just decide to go their separate ways. And then I don't know how many years later, it's like a number of years later, they get a call from Rowan Atkinson, who turns out to not be Rowan Atkinson. No spoilers, even though we just spoiled the second one.
Wait, I think I remember. Isn't the villain Scrappy-Doo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just spoil it.
That's alright. It's from like 2003.
No one's like going, oh, I'm gonna go back and
Yeah.
relive this. I can't remember what it ends with.
Yeah, but
It's a Scooby-Doo movie.
I really like that twist though, because it was just like, oh, I remember Scrappy-Doo. He was in like 3 episodes
Yeah.
of
Isn't
the
it
cartoon
like-
series.
From what I remember, it's like they just reveal it at the end. There's no build-up of like, he's not in the entire film.
Oh
until
no,
the end.
no, yeah,
And they
it's
do,
just
like,
kind
a
of he just
flashback.
comes out of nowhere, and it's just kind of like, hey, you know this character, right? Yeah.
What was like the female Scooby called? Like Scooby's girlfriend. There was like a
Scooby
white
girlfriend.
dog.
Oh yeah, he did have one. That's a scary episode where she gets like, she's like a show dog, and she gets kidnapped by, I don't even know what the villain is, but I just remember being scared because I thought, oh no, why is someone trying to kidnap Scooby's girlfriend? I have no idea what her name is. But
Neither do I.
It's
But
probably something really generic like Scoobette or something.
probably.
do you remember he had like cousins as well? He had the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the southern
With
one
the
with
red hats.
yeah.
I always remember the red hat one. Because you'd always see it on the intro. And every time I would see it, I go, why am I never watching that episode? I always want to see what he does.
Was that
It's
the
like
one?
the Stig's Australian
Yeah.
cousin.
Was that the one with the gators in it?
I think so, yeah, because he had that region accent, which
Yeah.
I can't quite remember. Alabama, is that
No,
the
well, I
other
mean,
one?
I think it was Louisiana.
Louisiana.
But yeah, it's around that way. Yeah.
What was your favourite era of Scooby-Doo cartoon?
I think our answers are all going to be the original.
Yeah, the originals.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I like them, but I think not the I think it's called like What's New Scooby-Doo. It was the early 2000s
Yeah.
one. It had the
Yeah.
Simple Plan. They did the theme tune for
What's
it.
New Scooby-Doo?
Wait, that was Simple
Coming
Plan?
after you.
Yeah.
I didn't realise
I
that was
know.
Simple Plan.
I didn't know either. And I was listening to their
I think
album and it
that's-
came on
Mm.
in like a heavy rock album. Just Scooby-Doo started playing. I was like, oh, I love this.
That's
my
probably
favourite.
the series we all
Yeah.
watched as
and
kids.
That's why it's my favourite, is because it's
No,
just
I always watched.
I
always
watched
the original.
the original as well, but I think looking back now, it's easy to see the original is way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
You like the new one,
I
don't you?
really like the new one. Yeah. The ending is really weird, but it's kind of, no Scooby-Doo series has an overarching plot, which this one does, and it does, apart from, you know, stumble at the end, which has like a cool, because it there's weird timeline stuff, but it like goes.
Yeah, it's a multiverse.
yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah. So it goes. it then feeds into the original series, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
So it's a prequel.
Yeah,
I
well,
remember
kind of. So they basically
It's a time travel prequel.
yeah, they like reset the timeline, and then it goes, and then they're like, oh, let's go on like these adventures, and that is where the like original cartoon then starts, because the rest of the show has none of the like classic villains, and it all takes place in their hometown, which nothing takes place in their hometown in the original show. So yeah, I really like that series. It's really good, and it's quite a lot darker as well, which I really
That's
enjoy.
what
I think it's a
put
good
me
fit.
off, weirdly, even though that makes sense for a Scooby-Doo, because I remember watching it with my niece and I'm just going, well, this just feels wrong. They're all a bit weird, they're all dating.
Oh yeah, the dating aspect's a bit weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't care for that. But however, okay, Freddy is the best character in it. He's just an idiot, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
But Freddy's not supposed to be an idiot.
Yeah, but that's I just really like the fact that like he only thinks about traps because he's always the one who comes up with the traps. So like that's his entire character arc in this. It's just he is a trap person, and that's all he thinks about. He subscribes to like Trap Weekly.
It's trap music. It's everything about him is perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Doesn't he think like they're all at university or college or something?
No, I
Isn't
think
that what
they're in high
studies?
school.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he studies? Is like
Trapology.
trapology?
No, I don't think so. Because I think it's just like he really likes it, and like his dad is like, "Can you stop with these traps? You're not going to go anywhere with this."
Is it all a metaphor for something?
Who knows?
For
Maybe.
another
I like
trap.
how the bits I've seen. There was a prequel to this prequel. There was like a pre-Mystery Inc. gang. There was like another.
Yeah,
one,
there
and they
was,
had like
yeah.
an owl instead of a dog.
Yeah, who becomes a villain?
Yeah,
in it. Yeah,
They
it's
were
really
going,
cool.
that's so just out there. It kind of works.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
like so weird to go for it. Hey Nick, would you like a fact which ties together both this comment on Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed and the current cartoon series we're talking about?
Yes, I would love an interesting fact, Adam, if only there was a man for the job.
Whoa, it's me, Jack Goodman, who knows everything about Scooby-Doo. The actress Linda Cardellini, she does the voice acting for Vilma's arch nemesis in it. She's called Hot Dog Water, which is a bit of a weird name, but yeah, she appears like every 3-4 episodes or so. And I didn't realise it was her at first, but listening to it, it's a nice little nod to the people who like the films. She might actually play Velma in like one of the older series or something. I don't actually know. But
Wow, Jack, that's really interesting.
That's very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
I definitely didn't take like 5 takes.
No.
Hey, that
Definitely
wasn't
not.
my fault. That took 5 takes.
Oh.
Okay, so to round off Scooby-Doo, out of 10, what would you rate it?
Well, since I think all rating systems have been ruined by IMDb, I've created my own one, and I'm going to be rating it out of how happy Jack is. So a 10 is super happy Jack, and 0 is just Jack on a day-to-day basis, which
Okay,
isn't very
yeah.
happy. And judging by his reaction to the very mention of this, I'm giving this film a solid 9.
I'm giving it a 12. 12 out of 10 on the Jack Happy meter.
I will
like,
give Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed a 8.5.
This film gives me so much joy. I could watch it every day. I really could.
Could you
it's
though?
I probably
That
couldn't.
seems like a challenge.
No, I could watch it. I could watch it for like 2-3 days in a row, and then be like, all right, I can stop this now.
Who's your mommy?
My mommy?
Right, so the second film that we've watched is a 2005 alien horror hybrid film called Evil Aliens.
Who's the father? Please tell me it's E.T.
Real inventive title.
It
Yeah,
is.
It's
It's
the point.
It is a very interesting low-budget horror comedy about a group of people from a TV network who try and find aliens and like make stuff up about UFOs, and they go to this remote island to try and find some aliens.
And remember, it's off the coast of Wales because the hillbillies in it are just the Welsh,
It is,
which is
it
a bit offensive.
It is very racist and offensive to Welsh people for no apparent reason.
But maybe it's like, it's so offensive, it's fine. Like, if it was like
Ooh.
subtle.
Treading on thin ice here.
Thin ice. But if it was like just just subtle, and then every now and again it'd be offensive. But it's like such a big caricature. It's almost the other way around.
But the thing is, though,
Parody, almost.
like it's not even like it's not
not
even a
fun.
caricature. Like I don't think of the Welsh like that.
No
like
one does.
the kind of even though it isn't deserved, you kind of have that kind of caricature of the southern United States, but you don't have that about the Welsh.
Well, maybe they wanted to do that, but budgetary, they had to film off the coast of Wales.
As interesting as the demonisation of Welsh people is, let's take a step back and discuss the plot and how this film starts.
Cool.
Wait,
so
are we doing spoilers and then non-spoilers? Because this is a
no,
film that
no
people
one
might
cares.
not actually seen.
No one cares about
No
this
one
film.
cares
Are you
about
sure?
this film.
Okay.
If you care about ever seeing evil aliens and really want to not know about the zero twists that happen in it, then stop listening.
No, Adam, there was no twist
There was
in this
no
film.
twist. Adam's
There
now
are
trying
things
to
we
think.
can't talk about.
There are many
which
things we can't talk about
they
on the
should
radio.
watch.
No, yeah. Well,
But-
I do still recommend like
The
watching
watching
it
it.
because we're
It
not
is-
going to be able to talk about half the great things
Yeah.
about it. So
Right. Anyway, back to the plot, Jack.
okay, so they start off in like just an office, and they're obviously working for like a TV company, and they're wanting to do a piece on just like aliens, I guess. Just I mean,
There's a pregnant woman on a remote island who claims she was made pregnant by some aliens. They think she's just a crazy woman, but they think it will be good for the TV show.
and then yeah, they go to Wales, this remote part of Wales, to go and interview this woman, and they interview her, and like they kind of take the approach of not believing her, but unlike professional interviewers, they just kind of take the mick out of her, and she starts to become sick of them, and honestly, it's just a mind blank from there. Like, I can't remember a solid the middle third of this film. I can't
can't
remember.
either.
So much happens.
But like, I remember the beginning, and I definitely remember the
Yeah.
end.
Yes.
But like, I don't remember the middle. It just seems like a lot of. It's like they were trying to pad out the runtime, because I think it's only like an hour and 20 minutes anyway.
It felt longer.
Like, oh yeah, definitely felt
it
longer.
Felt longer
Yeah.
because although it's great and I love it, I'd recommend watching the first 20 minutes, skipping half an hour, then watching the rest.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole chunk of nothing in the middle.
It's it's just you start to become bored. Like, when it starts being boring when all three of us are on our phones,
Yeah.
just like not paying attention,
But then the aliens come.
which are amazing. They're all
Yeah.
practical effects, no CGI. Maybe because it was cheaper.
Much cheaper to
Yeah.
do
Who
it that way.
knows?
It was cheaper. They look like they'd gone to like Poundland and got an alien mask.
No, they just
Poundland
they
Predator.
look like they've got a Poundland Predator
Yeah.
mask
Yeah.
and costume, and they just start running rampant and just
They
killing anyone they want.
The island they're on is like a small farming island where this pregnant woman lives with her 3 brothers who are all slightly insane, but they're all cow farmers. So the aliens come down to eat the cows while the film crew is there, and then obviously the film crew try to start fighting the aliens, and the three brothers that own the cow farm all go a bit mad and get various weapons to try and fight the aliens in this amazing fight scene. I think one of them has a shotgun, one of them has, is it a chainsaw?
Yes, it is a chainsaw,
Yeah.
because that's one of the best bits in the film, when he's menacingly walking along and tries to start it and he can't start it, and the alien's running towards him and he just can't start his chainsaw. Oh, it's very, very funny.
The other one's a
But
crossbow or something.
It was a bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
no, he picks that up later, doesn't he? I swear it's like, because there's the one who only has one eye.
Yeah.
He like starts off with a shotgun, and then he runs out of bullets, and he runs away, and the other 2 get killed. Spoilers. And then he picks up a bow and arrow from somewhere. I don't know whether he had it like in his backpack or something. I really don't
I mean,
know.
the continuity doesn't really matter in the
No.
film.
No.
And like his sister gets turned into an alien at some point.
Yeah,
a
the
weird, like,
sister is
effect.
the pregnant woman, but she kind of gives birth, but she gives birth by shedding her own skin and becoming the alien that's
Yeah,
inside
I
her.
real
liked
weird.
that twist on the whole. She's pregnant with an alien. Instead of being an alien baby, she became the alien.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was kind of like
different.
an alien chestbuster thing, except the alien, it was just an alien face bursting out her human face.
Yeah, and to be fair, for like a 2005 film, like the fact that they still use 80s style practical effects was actually like really
It was
nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you like the discount Scooby-Doo gang, which was our protagonists in this film?
Yes.
Which is
I
a nice
noticed
follow-on
that.
from
Yeah.
our from our Scooby-Doo
Now, that's what
discussion.
they call a transition.
But I'm pretty sure you guys noticed this as well, but the whole way it was shot, especially at the start, and the whole feel of it, it felt kind of like an adult film, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I mean, the characters alone, just Google it. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing you think is, what DVD have you bought, Jack?
Yeah.
Which was the first question we asked.
Yeah.
Jack picked this DVD up.
Mainly because it looked terrible, and its title.
So we started to watch it, and we genuinely thought we were watching like an adult movie.
Yeah. I mean, at times the acting definitely seemed like that.
And some of the scenes
Some of
also
the
seemed like
scenes
that.
Oh, yeah.
also seemed like that.
I just kind of, blocked some of them from.
I don't think I can
from my
ever
mind.
forget that.
It's.
Like, I'm
I
going to
don't
die
think-
remembering that moment.
All right. Well, moving on.
Moving on.
Let's talk about the
Combine harvester
Combine
scene.
Oh my god,
Scene.
the best scene in this film. Just
ripped straight out of Lollipop Chainsaw, or inspired Lollipop Chainsaw?
100%.
Which
Lollipop Chainsaw was like 5 years later.
James Gunn stole this scene. He also wrote Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah.
didn't realise he wrote
James
that.
Gunn writes a lot of weird stuff.
Is that-
We've linked James Gunn to the first one because he wrote it, and to this one, and I noticed that you were talking about Alien in Scooby-Doo as well, and I just talked about Alien in this one.
Exactly. Just all of these.
It's
All of
How,
these things.
how
I can
are we
think
going to
about.
link James Gunn and Alien to our third film?
Watch me do this.
Hang on. Right, so back to the Combine Harvester scene. So the best scene in the movie, all the aliens are in a field, and one of the characters, one of the protagonists, decides his weapon of choice will be a Combine Harvester,
This is the cameraman, I think.
the cameraman.
Does
from
it
the TV
matter?
show.
Oh yeah, they're all integral characters.
Well fleshed out,
The blind
interesting
sound man.
arcs.
But he kind of just slow-mo drives through the field over all the aliens, blood and limbs spraying everywhere, whilst on the radio playing is "I've got a brand new Combine Harvester."
Oh, it just makes the scene. Like, just before it, I was loving it, and when that song came on, I was just like, this knows what it's being.
You
Like,
said before it happened, I hope they play that farming song.
Yeah.
And when it came on, you were bouncing.
it's so, because honestly, the first half, it's like they had two different directors for it, because the first half of the film was like pretty serious for the most part. Like, obviously there was some weird stuff in it, yeah, and the concept in general is weird, but for the most part, they like it still wanted to be like a very low budget horror film, like Texas Chainsaw-esque film.
Yeah.
But the second half knew exactly what it was.
Yeah,
that it didn't have the money to be a proper horror film. They didn't have the talent to be a proper horror film, so they were just going to have fun with it, and that's exactly what they did, and it was made 10 times better for it.
It became one of those films that is terrible but knows it's terrible, so it's fun even though it's terrible, if you know what I mean. And I think those are like my favourite films that we watch.
Yeah. I mean, every moment after that, it just tried to top itself. each
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
And that's the best bit.
There was one part where I'm not sure which character it was, but there's a giant methane tank underneath the farm with all the cow poo in it.
Yeah.
So he lures all the aliens into the manure tank, and then kind of swims out from the manure with a lighter and lights all the methane gas on fire and blows the whole farm up, killing all the aliens. And it's just so bizarre that the climax and the way they defeat the aliens is in a big tank of poo.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I
Like,
thought, because all the way through the film, it's like, this is set up. It's weird. This is actually the good bit about the film. They set up the manure silo right at the beginning.
Yeah.
They go, don't go in there.
The
it's full
first
of
time,
gas."
the first time you see the three Welsh brothers, they're all like wearing protective suits and are covered in cow poo.
Is that supposed to be like a reference to? Is it My Bloody Valentine, the ones in the mine?
Oh well, yeah.
They all wear like gas masks and stuff.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
I know, because I've only ever seen the trailer. I thought, oh, that's a reference. I bet someone's understanding this.
Yeah, but no one has a pickaxe or anything in it, which is how he
Oh.
kills. I think that's how he kills people. I can't remember.
Probably if he's a minor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was he? 16. Joke of the podcast. Yeah, so they set the whole thing up all the way through, and I like that because I'm like, because the film was so bad, I didn't expect it to ever do setup. But I was really disappointed because the whole lighter was the Watchmen logo, the smiley face with the blood in it. I thought that was going to be like, it's a clever thing about duality. No, it's just that's the lighter someone had on set at the time.
I just like to think it was just like, let's use my favourite lighter.
Yeah.
I really like Watchmen, but I don't
like
have the
Watchmen.
talent to give proper reference to it. So let's just have a lighter with the Watchmen logo on it.
What was your thoughts on the Jesus imagery throughout the film, where they crucified an alien?
Yeah, that was. Well, they didn't exactly crucify him because they just tied him up. Like they didn't.
He just ripped himself
I
off.
think they only tied him to the cross because they had no way of filming it to make him look like he was nailed to the cross.
Yeah.
I think they intended to crucify him.
I mean, sure. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I don't know how you do that. So, I mean, props
they
to
could've
them
just
for
put
Get a mega
trying.
budget.
Nailed through a costume, not a bloke.
I mean, maybe, but then how would he have like stayed up? Because it was just gloves. or-
I guess, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird because considering like how they just like they don't have any reason to go on a massacre, but they just like come down and just try and kill anybody in sight. So I think it's a bit weird that they're like, okay, they kill everybody, but they're also Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
There was no motivation. I don't know why we're discussing this about a bad film, but there was no motivation for the aliens. They just appeared and then they attacked.
Well, no, the
didn't mind
motivation.
that.
The motivation was they were trying to impregnate people and make more aliens,
Was that
and
it?
then eat the cows. They were there to feed and breed.
That should be the title of the film.
Feed and breed aliens too.
no, it should be the tagline.
They're
Here to feed and breed.
It sounds like what
Lock and load, boys.
what one of the farmers would say.
Yeah.
No, one of the farmers would say,
It's really offensive.
I know, but they all spoke like that. In the
No.
film. I'm
There
not
was
exaggerating.
there was the
That's
one.
how they spoke.
There was one that spoke like that, and the other two just spoke Welsh,
Oh.
which.
Which is,
So-
is that more offensive or less offensive?
Well, at least with the one who didn't speak anything, it was kind of like, okay, you couldn't replace him, but then the other two speaking just Welsh, it was like, oh, okay, cool.
I get this. It's just really offensive.
Yeah.
What? Who was your favourite character of the discount Scooby-Doo bunch?
Oh, the nerdy scientist
The nerdy
guy.
scientist.
He was-
Norman.
Norman. We gave him 3
Norbert.
different names throughout it.
No, they called him by 3 different names in the film because his name kept changing. It's like they woke up, went to set the next day and was like, "What's this guy's name again? It's Edward?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with
Norman?
that, yeah.
Gary?
Yeah,
I think
something.
George was one of them.
Gary, George. He was definitely called Gary once, and he was called Norbert as well.
Maybe one was like a nickname, and Gary was like his actual name, so to show respect to him at the times that he needed respect, they'd say Gary. I don't know, I'm thinking into this film way too much.
Oh, that reminds people, because they don't respect him at all.
No.
The bit where he wakes up and he sees the crop circle, and he has like the time of his life
For
running-
30 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
running around it. Oh, that really, I don't know why. It's really heartfelt. He finally got what he wanted, but they lied to him.
Oh.
They spent hours making crop circles.
Yeah, which is weird. Like, why would they go to the effort of that?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because that's
I thought they were going to
footage.
kill him. I don't know what it was, but when they all came out of the wheat, because they were hiding in the wheat and they started walking towards them.
Well, explain it a bit.
All right,
Because so
the-
obviously the TV people needed to actually film some evidence of aliens, so they made a fake crop circle. But the scientist, expert guy who believes in aliens they have with them, thought it was a real crop circle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about all the context it needs. Yeah, there's not much.
basically. But I generally thought they were coming out, because they were walking semi-slow motion. I thought, this is where the film turns and they're going to kill him for some weird reason.
See, I didn't think so, because it was like 10, no, maybe not 10 minutes in, maybe like 20 minutes in. Like, it wasn't very far in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Something's going to happen.
Maybe.
Maybe they're going to turn on him and it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. But no, they just made fun of him for a bit.
I think before we score this film, we should leave it with this final thought. What if humans are the evil aliens?
What?
So
Whoa.
out of 10.
If it wasn't for the Combine Harvester scene and the kind of the tonal shift of the second half, it would be like a 3. But the tonal shift and the Combine Harvester scene, like a 6, because I had fun in the second half. First half was like boring and kind of weird, but second half was fun. So yeah, 6.
Once people started dying in the second half and dying in more elaborate ways and
You
blood
sadist.
going everywhere, that's just, for me, that's where it picks up. But it still felt like it was 4 hours till we got there. So using my Jack Goodman.
Whoa.
Jack Newman.
How did you get my name
I
wrong?
have no idea. Using the Jack Goodman scale of enjoyment, about a 5.
I was bored out of my mind for the first half, but the second half is up there with the best time I've ever had watching a film with you guys. So for that reason, 6.5.
Nice. I'm glad that we've taken the time to talk about this film, which nobody has 1 seen or 2 will ever talk about again.
I feel like we can inspire people to go watch this film and then they make a sequel.
All 4 of you listening.
Who's watching the Waveful?
One thing I do have to wonder though, just quickly before we move on to our next film, is where do you originally get this DVD from? Because this is the type of film that you buy at like a bargain bin.
Yeah,
place.
we got it from a second-hand bargain bin.
Yeah, but where do you buy this film originally?
Oh yeah.
Like, it must come from somewhere.
I like to think someone involved in the production just has a load of copies and just puts them in bargain bins, because no one will distribute the film, so they just put them in DVD stores.
I mean, that would kind of make sense. It's not the weirdest thing I could think of.
Car boot sales.
Or maybe
Yeah.
an alien put it there, Jack. Whoa!
Well, on that note,
Our third and final film, what we like to do every week is we watch 3 films, and for the last film, we either like to pick a film one of us has seen and liked and would like to share with the other 2, or a film we've heard that is good and all want to watch, but none of us have seen it. So for this week, I chose the film Ghost World from 2001, which none of us had ever seen.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Shut off that damn noise! Rock and roll, baby. Freedom of speech.
That guy rules.
It is kind of a comedy drama, starring Thora Birch, Scarlett Johansson and Steve Buscemi. And the premise for this film is these 2 teenage girls answer a Lonely Hearts kind of advert in a newspaper to prank the guy who's put the advert in. But the main character, Enid, starts to become really good friends with the guy. And it's kind of a sweet little coming-of-age friendship story between this older, lonely guy and this kind of out-of-place teenage girl who doesn't really know what to do with her life.
I just loved it. I don't know what it was. It's the spirit of it. It's the charm. It's the loving and hating of the characters and the way they go about things. I don't know. It just really got me. I don't know what it was. It's the spark of the film. Which is
I'd heard about it. The reason I chose it is because a podcast I listen to about films, one of the presenters on it always says that Ghost World is his favourite film. So I've always wanted to watch it. So when I saw it in the bargain bin for 50p, I was like, we have to watch that. So yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked it up.
yeah, no, it was real good. I enjoyed it quite a lot. It has like a very, I think it has a very good cast. Like, just not just obviously like well-known actors, but also like they all give a very good performance. I mean, Scarlett Johansson gives an okay performance, but she was like, what? How old was she at the time? Like 16.
Scarlett Johansson was 15 or 16 when it was filming.
I mean, she, like, to be fair, like she gave a pretty decent performance given her age, but like it wasn't anything to write home about.
The thing that interested me is the main character, Enid, played by Thora Birch, is best friends with Scarlett Johansson's character, but Thora Birch is clearly the better actor out of the 2, but for some reason Scarlett Johansson's the one who got famous and got roles after it.
Which is weird though, because she's also she's the daughter of Kevin Spacey in American Beauty, and she's also very good in that. So I don't know why she hasn't. I mean, maybe she has been in more films, but like I can't think of another film she's been in.
No, I looked it up on IMDb. It's very sporadic. Well, she is in films, but just not
I think this was the first film, well, the first big film that Scarlett Johansson had done before she went on to Lost in Translation, which is where she got her massive break.
Great film, by the way.
Yeah.
Not seen it.
And Steve Buscemi's performance is just brilliant.
It's just Steve Buscemi.
It's just Steve Buscemi. Yeah, he's playing a nervous, nerdy guy.
Do you think that's like him?
I think it's him. Oh, I've got an interesting fact of the day for you about Steve Buscemi in this film. Steve Buscemi hated the character he played. He hated being the character and having to perform as him. And as soon as they'd yell cut at the end of the day, he'd strip off the costume and put on his own clothes so he felt less like the character.
Exact same clothes though.
I mean, do you think that was just because he related to the character so much that he was just like, no, I don't like
maybe
this
really
because
cool.
I relate to him so
and
much.
we've read him wrong. Like, he's a really cool guy. Like, he drives a Harley and he's got sunglasses and like leather jackets.
I love Steve Buscemi though. Like, he's a great actor. I haven't seen a film that I haven't liked him in.
He needs to be in more things.
He does.
I mean, he's in quite a lot of things.
More
Not as many things as maybe he should be.
Yeah,
but
more things that are like more mainstream, I think.
Yeah.
Just put him out there more.
We watched The Death of Stalin the other
He's
week,
great in
and he
that.
was very good in that as the main character.
yeah, I can't remember what his name was because it's like
A Russian
Russian with
politician.
setting.
American
Yeah.
accent. It's lovely. I could watch that film again.
Yeah.
Both these films, actually. I love it. So good. It's weird looking back and seeing how, Scarlett Johansson's going to become a really famous actress. And she's not the main character. It's a really weird sensation to go, but we know who that is.
Yeah.
Why is she only in it for like a third of the movie if you like break it down?
Yeah, I think
Very
it is.
strange.
I think it is just because though, like, she wasn't like, this wasn't obviously her big break. Like, that was Lost in Translation, where she gave a much better performance and she was a much bigger role in it. So, like, I don't know. This is just kind of one of these films that you see the character. It's like if you were to see a Harrison Ford film before Star Wars, like you could kind of you know that they're going to be famous, but you know that this isn't going to be the film that they get famous from. So you know that their acting isn't going to be amazing, or I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't
would
know
like
how.
To see some more films like that, where they're like really young and they go, oh, here's a little prelude to a week's podcast. Melissa McCarthy in Go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she is in that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot she was in
That's
that.
the only thing I can really remember about Go. That's my fun fact.
If you continue to listen to this podcast week by week, you will hear a lot about this movie Go, and we will eventually cover it.
It's the Holy
Season
Grail.
finale.
It is the holy grail
Yeah.
of films we have watched. But yeah, we'll keep that under wraps for now.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, you won't get better than Go. I mean, you might, but
A normal film.
Yeah.
You won't get better than Go in our context.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Ghostbusters was great. There's just I don't know. It made me feel weirdly, to link it with Lost in Translation again. It made me feel the same thing that I felt with that. That it made me feel very like existential.
Yeah.
Like I kind of obviously like that's like the point of the film, but I felt very much like is this what I want to do with my life? Do I want to be at uni?
Yeah, I didn't sit there and go, oh, I wonder if there's a bus anywhere around here.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to sit on a bus
I
bench for a
sat
while.
there going, because Steve Buscemi's character is called Seymour, and any time he's on the screen or says anything, I'd just go like, oh, Seymour. But it really worried me because I saw a lot of myself in him.
It's like, oh, he's really into collecting things. Like, oh, I'm really into collecting.
He's really lonely. Oh, that's me as well. So the interesting thing about, a little interesting thing about Ghost World is it's directed by Terry Zwigoff, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? So I did some Googling, and it turns out that he's made a couple of films, a couple more films, but none that I really noticed. But I noticed that he was the writer-director of Bad Santa, which I thought is a really weird shift to go from Ghost World to Bad Santa.
Well, it's just a shift of going from a good film to a terrible film.
It's like, I need money.
Maybe.
What can I write in 20 minutes?
I suppose so, but I just feel like... Wait, did he write Ghost World?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay.
Well, maybe that's it.
I can
Yeah, he can direct well, but he can't act. He can't write well.
I can fact check.
Yeah, that's for fact
Whoa,
checking.
live on the air.
Live
Shall we
air
fill while you
fact
fact
checking.
check?
Yeah.
Sure.
How's Spider-Man going, Jack?
Hey, Spider-Man on the PS4 is real good. You should all get it. I'm not paid by Sony, but if Sony wants
If
to
Sony wants
sponsor
to pay
this,
us,
sponsor
we'll
this
accept
podcast,
it.
yes, we will very much accept it.
Is
You
this,
want-
this for SoundCloud listeners again?
No, this can be for everybody. Sony, you want to pay me 50 quid? I will take. Frankly, I'll just take 3 copies of your games because I want to play the motorbike zombie game, Days Gone, which I remember. I only remember the name of that this morning because I was like, I can't remember what the motorbike zombie game is called, so I had to look it up because that's all I remember about it.
So Terry Zwigoff directed Bad Santa. He directed Ghost World.
Mm-hmm.
He adapted the screenplay for Ghost World from the comic book it was based on.
Oh, it's based on a comic?
Yeah.
Oh, so
It's
we can't
based-
even give him credit for it.
It's based. Ghost World is based on a graphic novel. I haven't had time to research it actually because I
was
wanted
planning
to.
on buying it. That's my thing. Was if I watch a film that's based on a graphic novel, like Snowpiercer, or something, I'll buy it and then see the difference. I was planning on doing it with Ghost World, so I might do it by the end of next week's show. Tell you about it.
Quick thing on comics quickly. There is a number of films that I potentially want to watch that are based on comics. Do you know Red is based on a comic? You know the
Yeah.
Bruce. I didn't realise
know
that.
that.
And apparently it's nothing like the comic. The comic is just about this like young guy who all these spies try and kill him, and it's got Bruce Willis in it for no apparent reason.
Oh, it's like
We need a star, damn it!
It's like
Pretty much.
Wanted on another
Oh,
tangent.
yeah.
If we're doing that,
Yeah.
it's the comic book is 100% different to that. Like the whole curving bullet thing. That's not it.
I wonder.
But the
if
Wanted comic was
the-
terrible though.
It's just too much. It's
Yeah.
like in your face with everything.
I wonder if the Ghost World graphic novel comic will be similar to the end of the Bleep in World comic book. Because if you've seen the end of the Bleep in World,
Yeah, sorry, that took me a second to
yeah.
get what you were talking about as
really
well.
Slow. You're really good.
yeah, I'm really good. That TV show was really good, and that was based on a graphic novel comic, and that graphic novel was really dark, but really good. So I'm hoping that Ghost World has a similar thing, where the comic is much darker.
Once you told me it was a graphic novel, I could kind of. You can always tell. I think it's the colours in the film. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Like everything's high contrast colours. There's
Kind of
oranges
had
and reds and stuff.
like a Ramona Flowers thing
Yeah.
going with the
It was like
clothes and
prototype
the hair.
Ramona Flowers.
Yeah.
I like to think that that's like an inspiration for Scott Pilgrim.
I have a quick fact about Scott Pilgrim whilst we're here. Okay, so he wears, I can't remember the name of the band.
Plumtree.
Yes.
And Plumtree did a song
Song
called Scott
okay,
Pilgrim.
okay,
and
well,
that's-
you know, everybody knows this
Everybody
fact then.
knows
But-
this fact, Jack.
But I found out about it like the other day and I was like, whoa, that's
Why?
a really cool
was
fact.
it top of Reddit the other day?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just default to thinking, like, finding stuff on Reddit. All right, the thing you might not know, History of Violence. I think that's what it's called. Do you know that?
No, I'm just nodding.
Okay, cool. No, it's a
I've heard
comic.
this.
It's a comic that was made into a film, and apparently it's very good. So
Yeah,
potentially,
I would like to do we could do an episode on like
yeah.
comic book film adaptation.
I was watching a video on YouTube on like all of the DC films, and he brought up a number of films like Red and
The Losers.
The Losers. That has a very very good cast.
Yeah,
like
it's got a great cast.
it's so good.
Ryan Reynolds, isn't it? Idris Elba.
Zoe Saldana,
Zoe
Chris
Saldana,
Evans.
yeah.
Is Chris Evans is like that's his 4th film in a row he made, which is a comic book movie. He's tied with the guy who plays Negan. I think some guy did it on like Reddit of playing the most comic book characters in screen adaptations.
Wait, who's Negan playing?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan
He's the
plays-
Yeah,
comedian
he's in it
Watchmen.
as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
He plays
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it.
hundreds of like really big characters.
Hundreds.
Well, he does voices as well.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, he does tens.
Lots and lots of tens.
Lots of voices, but there's like 13, I think, is Morgan and
13?
Evans are like roughly around there for the amount of comic book characters they've played.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was
The best bit about
Batman's
Rampage.
dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great. That film is bad. However, I like.
Sorry, did you say
the-
Ant-Man?
No,
No, Batman's
Batman.
dad.
You know the bit
in-
of Dawn of Justice at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which
Oh.
is a bad film. However, I like the opening bit.
Yeah, no, the opening
where
bit.
He's gonna punch the robber. I was like, oh, that's cool.
No, the bit there's one shot in it. The only thing I like about that film, apart from the warehouse scene where Batman's fighting
Where
other
he
people,
kills everyone.
yeah, great scene, is when the robber's got the gun around his mother's pearl necklace, and he pulls the trigger, and I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the hammer. I don't know guns.
The slidey bit.
Yeah, the slidey bit like slides backwards, and it bursts the pearl necklace, and then the next shot is the pearls hitting the floor with the bullet hitting the floor as well. It's a really nice couple shots. See, Zack Snyder can't direct a film, but
really
he can
good
make a
things.
really nice couple shots in a film.
300. That's another comic book.
Again, it looks real nice, but the plot of it is pretty meh.
Yeah.
Guess what? James Gunn really likes Ghost World. And now he's in every section.
We just need to have an ongoing thing about James Gunn. We just bring him up with every single film.
One last thing on Ghost World.
Oh.
What did you think of the ending?
Oh yes, let's talk about the ending of Ghost World.
Oh, okay.
The ongoing reference to the bus.
The ending was definitely the weakest part of the film.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I'm not alone.
It was. I'm pretty sure it's a metaphor for something.
Oh yeah,
and it's got a deep meaning, but it wasn't obvious what it was.
I just assumed I was dumb. That
that
was my default. That I'm just not clever enough to know.
Oh, I'm not smart enough.
But
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the ending was very weak. I think if the ending was better, it would have been like a perfect movie. But yeah, the ending was definitely.
I will get back to you
good.
next week on whether the comic book ends like that.
You're gonna read the entire comic?
I've had a look at it. It's not like a Watchmen where it's like a Bible.
Oh, okay.
I think it's quite thin.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Like one volume thing.
Yeah.
But it felt that was the only time when I realised it was a comic book. Like, this is tropey of how comics end. It's like, this is a metaphor for things, and the bus is really her moving on.
Yeah.
I like the guy though, who she talked to was trying to make fun of at the beginning. Remember the guy at the bus stop? It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. There's always going to be a bus. That was nice. But
yeah. I mean, I didn't like the ending. Like, I thought, again, I kind of echo what you said, that I thought it was definitely like, a metaphor to something, but in the end, it was just like, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that I didn't like the ending, but I couldn't give a suggestion on how I would have ended it.
There's not an obvious good way to end it.
No. All the characters they're not like together anymore. They're like apart, but they're together in themselves.
It's kind of like
it's a very existential thing.
That's hard to end.
Because like the whole thing is her trying to be less lonely, trying to be more involved, and she finds that, but then also at the same time she's still existential and depressed. It's very weird.
See, I'd compare it, a bit of a tenuous link, but I'd compare it, in my opinion, to the end of The In-Betweeners, that like it just ends because that's the point. Like life doesn't just have an ending. It just life goes on, and there isn't a full stop in life. It just happens, and from that perspective, I like that because I really like the ending of The In-Betweeners. I think it's a really good. Well, I mean, to the series, we don't count the films.
No, not the films.
But like I thought, in that respect, it was nice because that's what life is. It just happens.
I've never had that explained like that, and I really like that.
The ending of The In-Betweeners?
Yeah, it just ends because it just does.
Exactly. That's how
it's
I
just
think
like
that works, and now you've explained it. It's like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I guess that justifies this film in a weird way, like you said.
So, out of 10 for Ghost World. Start with Adam.
Jack's just turned that around for me apparently with that existential bit about the In-Betweeners. I'm gonna say. It's 8, but it's not the same 8 as Scooby-Doo. It's 8 happy Jack Goodmans out of 10. Nicholas?
I'd give it a solid 9. I really enjoyed it.
I'm torn. Actually, you know what? Because I'm torn between an 8 and a 9, I'm going to give it an 8.5 because I can do 0.5s in this podcast because I can do what I want.
Because it's an arbitrary system.
Exactly.
It means nothing. Might as well be like, how many Steve Buscemi's out of 10 do you give it?
Oh, I'd give it 7 Steve Buscemi's out of 7 because I don't want to do it out of 10. That's an arbitrary number.
Nick?
I don't care.
And that's how we end this.
Anyway, thanks for listening to the Bargain Bin podcast. We'll be back again next week with 3 new films to talk about. We encourage you to go out to your local second-hand DVD shops, pick up some terrible movies, and try and enjoy watching.
Yeah, I think the air conditioning's finally turned off.
Yeah.
So
I'm
who
glad
knows
that
how this audio has turned out.
I'm glad that it's turned out, we have that throughout an hour and 2 minutes and 30 seconds of it, but the last 10 seconds, yes, we don't have that in there.
This is going to be the crispest ending to any podcast we'll ever
exactly.
do.
They'll be like,
Anyway.
wow, that ending's real good.
The opposite
Sounds
of
real
Ghostballs.
nice.
It was really good.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, SoundCloud.